everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a first impression / review on the new Physicians Formula Butter Believe It Foundation Plus Concealer, as well as their new Butter Believe It Putty Primer. They did release a whole entire collection. They come out, I think, with a diamond highlighter, a mascara, but I just got the two things that appealed to me most. And let me just say, I had to go through a serious hunt to find these. I did see where Trendmoo posted, I think she posted like at a Rite Aid drugstore, which we don't have those around us anymore. Walgreens bought them out. I thought that was everywhere, but maybe not. Maybe it was just in our area. But I went to every Walgreens and every CVS in like a 40-mile radius. It took me all day, and it was a waste of a day because I did not find these. So I did keep looking online, and I finally found these on the Physicians Formula website. When I initially ordered these from there was just 8 shades available, but looking here today, they have 12 shades available. And then I did see where Target has them, but Target is just showing like 4 shades available again when I am filming this video today. So I'm not sure if this is going to be available at Ulta or not, but yeah, we'll go ahead and we're just going to jump right into everything. I do want to mention that this is a different snake plant right here than what was here last time. This one's for my bedroom, but the other one, if you guys don't know, I killed it. I knocked it off and it's not surviving. It's like wilting and falling over, but it was just looking like really empty right here, so I did add this one in. But yeah, like I said, we're gonna go ahead and get started. I did, like I say, order mine from Physicians Formula website. It was $14.99 for the foundation, and it was $11.99 for the putty primer. I feel like that's pretty standard for Physicians Formula. It's not like, you know, super affordable like Catrice or Essence or Wet n Wild, but then it's not super expensive either. So I feel like it's a pretty fair price. I do want to talk about the shade range for just a second. I did get 3 shades. I picked up the shade, let's see, Fair, which is the lightest shade, Fair to Light, and then Light, because on their website it doesn't say anything like when you click on the shade here. It doesn't say fair with a cool undertone or fair with a neutral undertone or light with a warm undertone, anything like that. So I did have to guess. I will actually swatch these 3 shades for you guys against some shades that I have in my collection. So maybe if you're around my shade range, it might help you guys. So if you guys enjoy those comparison swatches, let me know and I will continue to do them. But yeah, we're just going to dive right in, and we're going to start out with the putty primer. I do have oily skin right now where it is cold. It's winter here in Virginia, and I do work outside. My skin is kind of a little bit more on the normal side. I would say I still get pretty oily like right here on my chin and then right here in the center of my forehead. But this foundation does say it is for all skin types. So we're going to go ahead and start with the primer. Unfortunately, they don't have a lot of information except, you know, on the back of the box here. It says that this is supposed to be an ultra luxurious, velvety smooth putty primer infused with our exclusive butter blend to deliver a radiantly soft, poreless complexion. It's incredibly creamy and soft texture, preps skin, and allows makeup to glide on smoothly for all day wear. So this sounds a little bit like the Tatcha primer, which I did pull here for comparison. I actually have the original e.l.f. primer still in the package because I haven't had a chance to try it out yet, but I feel like this is kind of what started this putty primer, like whatever you want to call it. But as you guys can see, I do really like the Tatcha one. Here we go. I've used quite a bit of it. I do prefer this primer more like around this time of the year, because primers like this, for me, I do feel like my foundation sits on top of them, and if I start getting oily, it's like the primer kind of slides off my skin. So I don't really gravitate towards these very often, except if my skin is more normal like it is now. And I have tried out the new Tatcha version for oily skin, and I'm still on the fence about this. I'm not really a fan. But I thought a really fun way to try this out would be to do half of my face with this and then just nothing on this half of my face to see how this foundation does without any primer or anything. So I don't really see, like, it just says that you warm the putty with fingers and apply evenly over clean face, blending with fingertips. You let set for 30 seconds and apply makeup. It can be worn alone or under foundation. So what I do like about the Tatcha one is that it does a really nice like blurring effect on the skin. This one looks, again, pretty identical. Just that like pinky pastiness. So I am going to use this. We'll do this on the left side of my face. I do want to mention it's getting closer to that time of the month, and I have a lot of hormonal breakouts, so we're going to definitely see how the coverage does on this foundation. I don't have any makeup on except for a lip oil on my lips because they're just cracking and hurting and I need something. So I'm going to do what it says. The Tatcha one did actually give you something to dip this out, so I'm going to actually take the back of my fingernail and just take a little bit out. So you definitely need a small amount, at least with the Tatcha one. Alright guys, so before I put this primer on, I did just scoop a little bit out. I wanted to zoom you guys in. But I'm going to take a really small amount because we are just doing this half of my face, and I'm just going to warm it up between my fingers just like I would do the Tatcha when it kind of goes clear. And then I'm just going to, ooh, okay, it has that very like butter smell to it. So yeah, a little bit goes a long way with primers like this. So very soft. Again, I'm trying to just stay on this half of my face. I did turn the lights down, so hopefully you guys can see just a little bit better. I'm hoping you guys can anyways. So yeah, all right, so that covered, like I said, I feel like this whole half of my face. Right, and it does, it feels very, I mean, it does, it feels very smooth. That is something that I feel like is very nice. So, all right, so I need a mirror. Let me, oh, here we go. I've got my little Makeup Forever foundation. So on initial application, I don't feel like it's as pore filling as that Tatcha one. I mean, like, it feels good on the skin, but I don't think it blurs my pores. Like the Tatcha one, I feel like almost makes my like pores look invisible. It does have that velvety smooth finish, but I don't feel like it gives the like the blurredness that I feel like the Tatcha one gives. But like I said, I don't mind this. I think it's like sinking into the skin really nicely. So, all right guys, so I did stop filming so I could go wet my e.l.f. sponge. So that primer has been on my skin for well over 30 seconds, which that's what it said how long to leave on before you apply anything over top of it. Again, I do have 3 shades. I am actually going to be going in with the shade Light. All 3 of these shades are not a perfect match for me. They all either lean like a little bit, I feel like, too yellow or too pink. Like, I don't have a perfect one, but we're going to use the shade Light and we'll just blend it down my neck. And then for concealer, because it says this can be used for concealer, we'll use the shade Fair underneath my eyes and see how it does. Again, this is the side that we primed with the Putty primer, and then this side has no primer at all. My hair, it's just, I'm sorry, I should have washed it today, but these waves have like stayed in for 3 days. I love that Amazon curling one. But anyways, let's move on. So this is the packaging. It's really, really pretty. It's glass and it's got like little palm leaves. And then you've got like a little, what'd you guys say, like lime? No, it's not lime green, like blue. So, oh, it does say to shake this up really well. It's supposed to, again, for all skin types, it has an incredibly creamy texture that melts into skin, leaving a natural, radiant, glowing complexion. Long wearing, weightless formula provides buildable medium to full coverage. So I'm expecting this to be, you know, at least be able to cover up some of this stuff. So this time of the month, I would probably spot conceal some of this, but again, I don't want to take away from, you know, this foundation, so I'm not going to do that. So it's a little bit runny. So we're going to start on this side. And like I said, none of these are a perfect match, but just making do with what I got. So I don't know how much to start out with, especially since I'm using, you know, like a sponge. It can soak up some product. So, oh, I have been trying to turn the lights down so maybe you guys can see like my scarring and stuff a little bit more. See like the coverage. So, okay, this actually has a different smell to it. I wouldn't say it's got that butter smell. It's, ew, I don't know, kind of like, okay, I don't know how to describe that. I hope this doesn't break my face out. Dang it. Usually stuff with like a lot of fragrance can break my skin out. So I think that blended into the skin really nicely just so far. So I'm gonna, of course, go up here on my forehead. So I'm gonna do one side and then we'll kind of compare. So I actually feel like I said it's a little bit goes a long way. I'm impressed so far. I actually think I'm glad I went in with a sponge first because I feel like it still gives decent coverage. I would definitely say this is medium coverage. I think that it covered pretty well. You can still see a few of those, like I said, peeking through, which I don't mind. Like I said, I could have just gone in with a concealer. So what do you guys think? I think like it's really good. I would definitely say that's like got a little bit of a glow. It's like I'd say natural finish is what I would, you know, classify that as. But I mean, like I said, I feel like again this mirror's like all the way across the table from me, but you know what this looks like? This reminds me of that Pacifica Alight foundation. It's got like that very like soft focus to it. Again, I don't know, that could be that primer. So, but yeah, like looks good. Again, doesn't look so good. So, Yeah, but I like it. I mean, I think the coverage is really good. So yeah, we're just gonna go on, and I had some left on my hand, so we're just going to do this side now. This is the unprimed side. All right, so I feel like this side with the primer looks a little bit smoother, and I would say that the unprimed side though still doesn't look bad. Like my pores are not enlarged or anything. It glided really nicely over top of my pores. I will just say that I do feel like it looks a little bit smoother on this side, but it does look foundation-y. Like I do feel like I'm glad I didn't use a brush, because I feel like maybe if I had used the brush, it would look even more foundation-y. And I can feel it on my skin. Like it's not the most lightweight feeling foundation. I would consider this good medium coverage. I wouldn't say it's full coverage. I think you could, you know what I'm saying, like get full coverage out of this, but I really don't want to build this up because I already feel it on my skin. And like, I'll be honest, I don't like when things feel that way because it does feel a little bit heavy. So yeah, it's a little bit tacky. But I mean, I think the foundation, like, first glance looks really, really good. So, I mean, so far so good. I do want to now try out the concealer though. So I do have a concealer brush. I'll use my brush, and if I don't like it with the brush, then we'll use the sponge. So this is the shade Fair, which is the lightest shade. I think this will be a little bit yellow underneath my eyes. And again, I am going to shake this up really good. Right, so again, we're going to take the shade Fair. This doesn't come with like one of those pumps that's also a doe foot applicator, so you do just have to pump it out. And I'm starting with just a little bit because I did feel like a little bit went a long way. So usually I would conceal this like little vein right here, but I dragged that foundation underneath there and it actually looks really good. So I'm just gonna put that there. And then we're just gonna take this little brush. This is the Rare Beauty Concealer brush. I actually really like this. I'm just gonna use this to prime my eyes as well, so I'll just bring the excess on my eyelid. I don't know. I don't think I like that with a brush. Yeah, I'm going to actually go over top that with a sponge because I feel like the brush isn't soaking up enough of the product. So, again, I would say that I'm going to go in and do this side as well. So I would say that that is more like a medium coverage again. So if you want like a full coverage concealer, I probably would use something else as a concealer. So I will say that where I added like that second layer underneath my eyes, it feels like heavy, and I don't like that feeling underneath my eyes. Like, oh, I don't know, maybe once I set it, it won't be so heavy. But I mean, I like this foundation so far. Like, first application, I like it. I just wish it didn't feel so like heavy on my skin. That's the only thing I don't like. I don't know if I could, this is a foundation that I would be able to wear underneath a mask, especially because, you know, your foundation already feels like icky when you got a mask on. So I try to go for more lightweight ones. So I don't know if I could wear this underneath a mask for like 8 hours. So, all right, I am going to set my under eyes. Like I said, I'm not going to add any more coverage with that Make It Forever powder, but I do always set my concealer. I always use my Viseart powder, and I've never had any issue with this, like doing anything. But since I have oily skin, because I feel like this is only fair, I'm going to bring that down here and then hit my chin and right here, which is what I do with all of my foundations. So again, I'm just going to set that area. Set my eyelids too. Okay, see, that heavy feeling's already going away, so at least underneath my eyes. Like I said, now I'm just going to set my chin. I'm going to set my upper lip too, because I feel like it's looking a little rough. And okay, guys, so what do you think? Like I said, I do feel like it does still look a little textured right here around some of my acne, but I think it looks really smooth. I would say the coverage, especially right through here, is more medium. It's not sinking into my fine lines or my smile lines yet. I do feel like there is going to be some creasing because it does still kind of feel heavy on my skin, and where I haven't set my entire face it does feel a little tacky. Like this area is nice and matte, but where I set it, but on the outer parts of my face it does feel a little tacky. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish the rest of my makeup, and then I'll come back and we'll do some comparison swatches, and then I'll update you guys a little bit later. Alright guys, it is actually several hours later. Time really just got away from me today. I'm going to go ahead and zoom you guys in and show you guys how this foundation looks. It is 5:30 right now, so I want to take all this makeup off and do dinner. But before I give you guys my final review and zoom in, I do want to go ahead and share with you guys some comparison swatches that I did earlier. So we're going to jump and do that really quick, and then we'll be right back. Alright guys, starting right here at the beginning, we have the new Physicians Formula Butter Foundation Plus Concealer in the shade Fair. Then we've got the shade Fair to Light in the shade Light, which is what I used on my face today. Then we've got the NARS Soft Matte Complete Coverage Foundation in the shade Light to Mont Blanc. This is the Too Faced Born This Way Matte in the shade Pearl. And then we've got the Essence Fresh and Fit Foundation in the shade 10, which I believe might be discontinued. Then we have the Soap and Glory Foundation in the shade 2, which is, I think, also being discontinued. It's one of my favorites. Then we've got the Rare Beauty Foundation in the shade 160C. And then lastly, we've got the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation in the shade 420. Alright guys, so I do feel like I'm looking a little bit rough. Like I said, I've had this foundation on for a really long time. So I want to go ahead and just show you guys what it looks like I said, at the end of the night, getting ready to like take everything off. It definitely sunk into my forehead lines, and that actually happened pretty quick. It didn't, in all honesty, get any worse throughout the day. I feel like by the time I finished up my makeup, originally it had kind of sunk in those lines. Now I do feel like you can see like right here, the, again, smile lines, it did sink in there. Usually when I take a mattifying primer and really like work that in there, I can avoid that. Again, you know, with first impressions, it's kind of hard to, you know, do that with. I definitely am oily, as you guys can see right around in here, which I would usually take in a powder, but again, I didn't want to do that. I do feel like the unprimed side looks a lot better. I feel like I'm not as oily on this side, and this side looks a lot more textured, and I feel like it kind of looks like almost like, I don't know how to explain it, but like just all through here, I just don't like how that putty primer has made it look. As far as on the forehead, again, the only issue is right there, but I do feel like the primed side, like I can tell a difference. I almost feel like the primed side has made me look more oily. My biggest gripe about this foundation is my chin, which I think is going to be hard to see. It just looks so dry, like I said, right around in here, especially on this side. Again, it's not like horrible, and I think I could work with this foundation. But yeah, I wanted to show you guys what it looked like. So let me zoom back out and I'll tell you guys whether I think you should get this foundation or skip on it. Alright guys, let's wrap this video up so I can take this makeup off and make some dinner. So starting out with the primer, the Butter Believe It Putty Primer, this is $11.99. This is going to be a personal skip for me. It is very similar to the Tatcha one, but here's my issue with primers like this, especially when my skin's a little bit more on the oily side, is that I feel like they kind of start to, when my oils start coming up, they kind of start to like break up and everything kind of moves with it. So I don't like this. I think that if you don't mind the scent in the Tatcha one, then you're not going to mind the scent in this one, because they are both pretty strong. This one smells exactly like the original Butter Bronzer if you've smelled it. Again, I know that this is kind of going directly on your skin, whereas that's kind of going over a foundation. So far this hasn't irritated me. If I wake up in the morning, I got a ton of breakouts, I'll let you guys know down in the description box. But yeah, like I said, this is just not something that works for my skin type. So this one is going to be a skip for me. Next is the foundation. The bottle is so cute. It is glass, which is really nice, and the pump was really nice. This is $14.99, which I feel like is a really good price point for the drugstore. I will say though, their shade range is absolutely horrible. If they just have 12 shades, which again, like I said, when I first ordered these three, there was a total of 8 shades. But when I looked today, there was a total of 12. So I don't know if maybe those shades were sold out, and as they're coming in stock, they're adding them. Again, not 100% sure on that, but if they have just 12 shades, I think that, again, that's something that you expect a lot more out of, especially for a brand like Physicians Formula. It's very unfair. Because like I said, I think there was like one deep shade, a few medium shades, and then like several light shades. So again, I hope that maybe they will work on that, but that's a huge, huge minus for me, because I mean, this is 2021. This shouldn't be a thing where they're just coming out with shades like that. I feel like it's just, you know, it's just wrong. So that is just like a huge gripe that I do have with this foundation. It does say that it is all for all skin types. Like I said, my skin is more normal right now with just a little bit of oiliness right here, which you've seen the oiliness kind of peeking through, which doesn't bother me. So it does work on my skin. If you're someone who has a lot of fine lines, that's something to watch out for because it definitely sunk into there pretty quickly, but it didn't get worse. It wasn't one of those that kept like just sinking and kind of like the widening, if you know how some foundations that do that. It looks really good over top of my nose. I think it looks really nice over my pores. I actually think it looks better on this side over my pores than it did with the Putty primer because I feel like it kind of just blurred right over top of them. So I do think it looks really good over top of your pores. The biggest thing as far as like how it feels is that it is very, very heavy feeling. I mentioned that when I was applying it and I still felt it through the entire day. I didn't wear a mask today because I was at home cleaning and filming, things like that. So I can't really speak to that, but I do feel like probably it would feel even heavier because if you guys know, like when you wear a mask and you're breathing, that area feels just like really heavy. I could only imagine what this one feels like. So yeah, I did want to mention that. Oh, as far as coverage, I think that it covered up my acne pretty good. I didn't build it up because, like I said, it already felt so heavy. But I think if you're someone who has really bad breakouts, maybe spot conceal. That's probably what I would do next time. And I do think that you would get really good coverage. So again, I would say that it is medium coverage foundation, but overall, like I said, I am on the fence about this. I feel like as warmer weather gets here, it's probably a foundation I won't like as much, but for right now, I think it's okay. Is it my favorite foundation ever? No. Will I ever repurchase this? No. Will I use it up? Yeah, I'll probably use it up because I don't hate it. Unless, like I said, I wake up and I got a ton of breakouts in the morning. But yeah, guys, have you tried this out yet? If you have, let me know down below in the comments. Like if you have dry skin or anything like that, just let other people know. So yeah, that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and thank you so much for watching.